Athi, a real shocking story, 2 people killed, but also the setting, really, one shudders to think what that environment must have been like when this happened.
Let me say, Michelle, it does not come as a surprise, the shooting that is. The Western Cape is known to be plagued by a lot of shootings that are linked to gangsterism, hence the starting up of the anti-gang unit. And I mean, this is a phenomenon that is that affects most communities in the country, but in the Western Cape there's a lot of gangsterism that seems to be plaguing the communities here. And in fact, this incident, this recent one that happened, it happened in Phillipi, in the farmland areas, and we happened to be at that venue where those matric pupils were said to celebrate their matric year. So that blue GTI where the 2 deceased men were in, the 34-year-old and the 41-year-old, it came right through here, Michelle. I want to take you through what had happened and what we saw through some of the footage that was shown to us. So the blue GTI was making its way right through here when it dropped off the female matriculate, who then went off. It then proceeded, Marcel, to obviously exit on this side of the premises at the Baron's estate, where then 2 suspects coming in from that direction came in directly targeting that blue GTI, and then the men coming from this direction, Marcel, started then shooting at the blue GTI. Now it's interesting to note that on the other side is is also part of the business managed by the managers that are also heading up this family business called Baron's Estate. So they also, on the other hand, may have seen what was happening through the different surveillance cameras that are here, which will obviously be very useful for the police when they probe this matter. They do not want at this stage to link this to any gangsterism, even though a lot of reports speculating that this might be linked to gangsterism, that the 2 men who died might be gangsters themselves, but all of that is not confirmed at the stage. The police saying that they still need to investigate thoroughly and actually determine whether this was linked to gangsterism or not. And in fact, eNCA, through our colleague Leanne Jansen, went on a ride along with the anti-gang unit a couple of weeks ago, and the anti-gang unit has indeed been deployed to some of the hotspot areas, but the war against gangsterism is far from over. When I was speaking to the managers here at Baron's Estate, who are located in Phillipi along the farmlands of this area, they are saying it is a very quiet area. There's hardly any shootings. So although the police are dispersing and dispersing the anti-gang unit at the hotspots, there are still some areas that seemingly have these shootings happen at the spur of the moment. But in this case, it does seem like that GTI with the 2 men was followed by the perpetrators or the suspects in this case. And it also wasn't long ago where I went to Hanover Park, where they held shutdowns there, waging a war against gangsterism, where we went back to the community to speak to them about whether they think the anti-gang unit is, working and making sure that they fulfill their mandate of swiping off and, getting rid of all the high gangsterism that is plaguing these communities. And in fact, they said there is a slight difference, but obviously the war is far from over if these incidents happen in communities like this where the anti-gang unit is not deployed in.
Athi, if we could just focus on last night's event specifically. If one thinks about it happening against the backdrop of a matric dance, where people are celebrating a landmark event and year in their time, one would expect there to be family members around to cheer them on as they go in. When this incident, this shooting took place, it must have been pandemonium. Have we heard anything from the matric pupils or the school who were at this event last night where the shooting took place?
Well, we understand at this stage that after the incident happened, obviously everybody was traumatized. They heard the gunshots because the suspect opened fire several times, shooting at that blue GTI vehicle which had the two men. So the pupil who was actually dropped off by those two men who died, she was also quite frantic. And I mean, in the videos that are going around and making the rounds, you hear her screaming and shouting. The owners of Barron's estate saying to us earlier on that she had to be taken away for counseling, obviously, because she was traumatized, as well as some of the pupils that were in. But it was business as normal. They tried to restore calm, and they tried to affirm the pupils that everything is okay, that the police are here and that they are safe, and that whatever happened has passed. But obviously a very traumatic event for matriculants to witness. Most of them were inside the hall when it happened. It happened as that vehicle that was dropping the matric pupil person out. It happened right outside and not inside the premises. So they might have not seen it. They heard the gunshots, but they're obviously very much aware of what happened.
We'll leave it there for now.